Did Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in the unveiling of the gameplay deserve the hate that it got? My answer is categorically no. No video game should get any hate. I maintain the position that if a gamer doesn't like a video game, best thing you can do is maybe try the game out using Steam or whatever other marketplace you buy your game from that gives you a small trial. And then if you like the game, continue playing. If not, refund the game, get your money back, or don't even touch the game if you feel like the game is not for you. The reason I say this is because you have to maintain consistency and keep the same energy that you actually have towards other games so that you don't become a joke. I decided not to talk about this scenario for a long time, but I thought it was actually quite necessary that we point it out at this point. We put a pushpin on it, and then we move on to other aspects, because I'm still seeing this, particular sentiment show up from time to time. In December of 2022, somebody told me that they enjoyed that Gotham Knights got pooped on, and they enjoyed the fact that this was the case because now they can ensure that Gotham Knights never gets a sequel, or we never get to see the sales numbers. Now, you might think I'm actually lying, but honestly, they use much more tougher language than poop. Instead, they use the straight up shite word in this particular context, and they tried to mock me while doing it. Now, December of 2022, December 4th, I replied about Callisto Protocol to a post made by one of our fellow content creators, and they were asking questions about it. I said I refunded it. It's not really my kind of game. Most of you know that it was one of our audience members that told me to go ahead and actually try the game, and I gave it a try. But, seeing that Callisto Protocol was having its issues, to me, it never really was appealing. I said I refunded it. And Tryhard over here said, that's their Twitter name, by the way, in case you're listening to the video. That's really their Twitter name. They said, but you play Gotham Knights? And they gave a laugh emoji. I replied, I said, yes, are you interested in Gotham Knights as well? They said, no, I don't really like games that are dog doo-doo. Can you imagine that? I said, good for you. You've got that champagne taste. I'm a beer kind of guy. I'm not so picky. If it's fun, I'll give it a go. And they said, their words, yeah, I enjoyed everyone pooping on the game and sales not even coming close to Arkham, ensuring that it doesn't get a sequel. And they did a yawn, meaning I'm on top of the world and blah, blah, blah. And I said, once again, good for you. And you know what they said? This was the funniest of all of them. They said, Suicide Squad is going to be a banger, though. I mean, like, they are in this particular tweet claiming that Suicide Squad, a game that they probably didn't pay much attention to, a game that they probably didn't know what to expect from, was already going to be the very best game that they probably thought they had never or were going to play. Now, here is where we have some challenges and where we have some issues. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has received a very negative reaction, in fact, to the point of hate. Would I agree with any of that hate that people have given to the game? Nah, never. I think if you want to critique the game, drop your criticisms. Talk about areas of the game that you feel are weak. Talk about aspects of the game that you think are not appealing to you, and mention why you think this is not the case and how developers or publishers could start making games that appeal to you. But to hate on a game that somebody has been working on, to me, is petulant and childish. And I'm sure that this person is probably not going to maintain the same energy to back up their claims that they made in 2022. Perhaps they may have shifted and possibly would give an apology for actually saying things about Gotham Knights that they said, because if you actually were to measure in an objective sense, the reception of Gotham Knights when it was first revealed and unveiled was probably more neutral than you got to see with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. There were a few things that I can actually remember from the unveiling of, say, Gotham Knights and even the unveiling of Suicide Squad, and you can actually go all the way back from 2020, and then you can look at even the unveiling in 2022 for Gotham Knights and kind of measure and see how things have gone so far. Now, if you think about the 2020 reveal of both games were revealed on the very same day. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League seemed to have a lot more excitement because it was Rocksteady. Gotham Knights, on the other hand, had a lot more neutrality, like we don't really know what's going on here. It appears that Warner Brothers Games Montreal might be trying to do something different. It seems like it's not connected, or it's connected to the Arkhamverse. A lot of people already established on that same very day that it was not connected to the Arkhamverse. And for the most part, people said, well, when the game, is released, we're going to see exactly what this game is about. It wasn't until we saw the 2022 gameplay in May of that year that a lot of people concluded that this might not be the game for them. And I agree. That gameplay even gave me some impressions that I could not necessarily figure out overall. In fact, one of my most popular videos is titled Gotham Knight Still Needs a Lot of Work. Not until the game released did I realize that, man, this game is a fun game and I actually did enjoy the game. And this was basically the case for me. But for many others, it wasn't necessarily the case. And many of them gave their own reviews. They gave their own, criticisms. And it was very respectful and it was very cordial. It really did make sense at the constructive criticism that was given. But for the most part, we saw a lot of petulance here. Like, we enjoy the fact that this game is getting hated on, or we hate on this game because it's not like the one game that we kind of thought would be in our own image and liking. And hence, they decided that the game was not worth even giving any kind of outlook or any kind of, I would say, cordial, perception. Instead, it was just straight up, we hate this game, or we're going to do everything we can or enjoy how people are disproportionately pooping on the game. Now the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has pretty much been delayed. I don't know exactly why. Some have claimed it's because of, say, the hate from, a lot of people in the community or the poor reception, whatever you want to chalk it up to. I think it gives us a clear picture as to how you can't necessarily determine how you're going to, perceive a video game until you actually get to see the game, maybe in a gameplay unveiling or maybe in some kind of a context. It's probably going to, in a sense, give you a better view or better vision of how it is this game is going to run. So my deal with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is, as much as I will always kind of put out these videos and say these things, I want to encourage people in our DC community to, take a much more, in my opinion, broader approach to when they assess and analyze these games. You see, this try-hard person over here is not the only one. We still have people in our communities that still enjoy the fact that Gotham Knights got hated on. In fact, they still say it all the time. Yeah, Gotham Knights deserve the hate that it got. Well, the only reason most of them say that is because of things like, the fact that it's just not an Arkham game. Because when you actually boil it down and read their comments, you're going to see things along the lines of, it doesn't have these things like Arkham, or the combat doesn't do this for me, and this and this and that. When in reality, those are just, in my opinions, I would say the closed-minded approach of somebody not being able to go ahead and, in a sense, divest themselves and play a different game for what that different game is. But instead wanting the very same formulaic game that has been, iterated in 4 different titles, by the way, if you actually go ahead and take a very close look at things. So to me, the Arkham games have already done what it is that they set out to do. They've made very fun Batman experiences. And the developers at one point even said that they were done with making Arkham games. So I can't necessarily hold them to, to that standard, in a sense, saying if they don't want to make an Arkham game, or they didn't want to make an Arkham game at the time that Stephen Hill made that 2014 interview before Arkham Knight came out, then you can't really force them. This is the game that maybe Warner said they should make, or maybe this was the game they wanted to make. I mean, you can't really tell, but I don't think it was. But hey, it is what it is. So we're going to look at this game for what it is. If you are somebody who wants to take, an open-minded approach, who wants to kind of see things for the way they are first before drawing full-blown conclusions, or at least, say maybe the game's not for me. Maybe I'll go my own way. Maybe I'll go play Spider-Man, or maybe I'll go play Jedi Survivor, which, hey, that's the game of that's what I'm looking forward to this year, by the way. I don't know if some of you may or may not know, but I'm really looking forward to that game. That's probably, in my opinion, a much more fun approach, because right now, with the way Suicide Squad was, in a sense, visualized, it's, in my opinion, very interesting to see how fans of Suicide Squad are not really happy that this game got the delay based on the rumors that it was based on the, reception from fans, because that's really sad, because some people really wanted to play this game. Some people were looking forward to this game. But again, you made the bed if you were in the camp that was, in a sense, pooping or enjoying that Gotham Knights was being pooped on and waiting for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. You pretty much added to setting that tone where now publishers are responding to how you've treated another video game that you didn't like but other people liked, and now it's time for a game that you like and other people probably don't like, and because they're hearing all the noise, they're responding, and now your game is back in the oven. I'm hoping that they're actually going to delay this game much longer so that we can see significant changes and significant transformations. In fact, I'm thinking an overhaul of the entire game is not out of the question right now. If my, gut feeling is actually correct that this game was made using the gameplay ability system, there's a lot of change that could be made to actually go ahead and deliver something that a majority of players actually would prefer to see. But again, I don't think that should be the case. I think developers should be able to make games that they are, wanting to make and actually expand and stretch themselves to places that even if their publisher said this is the game you need to make, then they need to make the very best version of that game that their publisher has mandated them, because that challenge is going to grow them. Not every developer gets to work on a game that they, love, or a game that they vision, or, not every developer is going to work on a Zelda game, even though many of them are Zelda fans. It is what it is. So these are my thoughts and my opinions so far, and I hope the DC community is paying very close attention as to how things are going. I wish the DC community had much more of an open-minded outlook like the Marvel community, who's capable of looking at their games as what it is that they are. Or for those of you who don't care, who play and enjoy both, I'm sure you understand what I mean. You get to see it. Marvel community, they just look at their games, even though Avengers was kind of like, something that didn't really resonate too well with most in their communities. They still are open-minded to other Marvel projects. And I think this is where Marvel's success actually does lie. You see, the closed-minded, everybody wants an Arkham or Arkham-style game, is not going to bring innovation in the DC world. Instead, what it's going to continue to do is going to continue to cause dissatisfaction if we let a lot of these loud, noisy folks that only want one specific kind of game to continue to make the most noise. If they keep doing that, if we keep letting them do that, all we're going to get is maybe no kind of push in the industry at all, or maybe, say, variation within the DC catalog. Thankfully, Wonder Woman is coming out, so I guess we can all maybe argue about that game and the intricacies and enjoy and mull over what it has to bring at the end of the day. So these are my thoughts. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching. Peace out.